Alright, 5 days remain for The Last of Us Part 2. Now, of course, as you all know, the last video that I did, I was a bit critical, I was a bit harsh. That was my personal opinion. I may have let my emotions get the better of me. Anyways, that is something else, and we will discuss that in some other video. Today, I was thinking, you know what, since I was so harsh last time, let's actually talk about some positives for the game. And today we're gonna discuss two parts for The Last of Us Part 2. Number one is the trophy list that you may have already seen. If you haven't, then we're gonna talk about it in today's video. At the same time, I want to talk about the accessibility features. That is something not many people are talking about, but it is something that we need to discuss because it is a revolutionary and really important, something that should be a norm going forward in the gaming industry. But before we get to that, let's talk about the trophy list. Of course, the original trophy list that was leaked before the official trophy list that came out, it was in Portuguese, but on powerpix.com we have the English related one. So we're just gonna go through them one by one. If there is any story related, we will talk about it. Now, just off the start, there are no difficulty trophies, and that is kind of disappointment for a while, but let's see what we have anyway. So when you collect all the trophies, you get the Until There's None Left achievement. Conclude the story and what I had to do, of course referring that to everything that's happened in the story. We don't know the ending yet, so I can't say much on that fact. If you learn all the skills, you get yourself Survival Specialist. If you improve all your weapons to the maximum, you are called Master of Weapons. If you find all the artifacts and journal entries, because I saw in one of the gameplay that she was writing the journal, so I am actually really excited for that. If you find all the cards, you get the complete set. If you find all the coins, you get achievement. You find all the workbenches, you get ready for the worst. You improve the weapon completely, you called Mechanistic. Learn a complete line of improvement that we've seen in the gameplay that was provided to us, you called Expert. If you open all the safes, you called Burglary. Then there's an interesting one. If you visit all downtown Seattle locations, you get Tourist. Finding all the training manuals, you get Professional. Learning 25 skills, Survival Training. Find all the weapons, Thick Lead. You find 12 workbenches, you get On the Field. Manufacture all the items, you get Tools of the Trade. This one specifically reminds me of Batman Arkham games. You know, when you achieve a specific number of tasks, you get an achievement and that unlocks some cool stuff. We don't know much, but only here it doesn't unlock much related to the story. If you improve a weapon, you get achievement. Learn an improvement apprentice. Find 5 collectible cards, basic kit. Find 5 coins in great state. Now these two, hidden trophy with hidden description, are story related, so of course they can't spoil that. If you get the best score in the bow and arrow game, now I would assume, spoilers alert now, that this may belongs to the Abby gameplay that we saw in the leaks, where you have the purple bow and arrow that I may go around making fun of her because she's this serious person who does those stuff, and she has this purple bow and arrow that came a bit funny to me. But anyways, if you get the best score in bow and arrow game, you get this achievement. Then if you find the weird artifact, which again I think and I believe that it is related to Abby gameplay, you find the Relic of the Wise. And if you find the recorded ring, again Abby related gameplay, you get the So Great and So Small. So these were the trophy list that is officially out. Like I said, there are no difficulty related trophies. I believe they were going for more story approach, and since we do have in the settings where we can tweak the AI itself in the game, we can tweak the settings related to stealth, combat difficulty, and all of that good stuff that we can do in the settings. I believe since they added that, they thought, okay, you know what, maybe let's remove this. I am kind of disappointed in that. You know, I barely passed through the main storyline on hard difficulty, let alone going above hard. But for a game of this caliber, I don't know, maybe I am missing something. Either way, do let me know what you think about the trophies. Now let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2 accessibilities features. Now I'm gonna quote CNET on this one because we need to discuss this. Now, as we've seen, that quote, the game has more than 60 different settings to better serve gamers who need more options for vision, hearing, and motor accessibility. I was watching this video who got really emotional seeing these features in a game like The Last of Us, considering all the hype and all the excitement around it and how big this game really is. It made him emotional and it made me emotional seeing that reaction, and I realized how big of an impact this will make. The game from Studio Naughty Dog builds on the accessibility foundations established with 2016's Uncharted 4. According to PlayStation website, in an early review, Blind Impressions gamer Steve Saylor called the sequel equal the most accessible game ever. I agree 100%. There should be no doubt about that. Players can choose from 3 accessibility presets, which will configure all the recommended settings for vision, hearing, and motor accessibility. Players can also go in and tweak individuals' options even after they select a preset. But PlayStation side noted. For vision impaired players, the new Last of Us settings include an enhanced listen mode that tells you which buttons to push and enhance sound effects, so you can rely on those more than visuals. Text-to-speech is featured in every piece of text on screen, which can be read to the player. A high contrast mode highlights your characters and allies in blue, your enemies in red, and objects in yellow. There is also an option to skip puzzles and adjust combat modes, and we have seen that gameplay as well. Deaf and hard of hearing players can turn on subtitles for the story, combat names, and directions. You can also turn on vibration feedback in the controller and set visuals or prompts to help you take action in the game if you can't rely on changes in the music or other sound cues. Motor accessibility features include lock on aim, automatic targeting, weapon swapping, and picking up objects, camera assist, navigation assistance, ledge guards, repeated button presses, and several other combat mode adjustment depending on your needs. Plus, for the first time, Naughty Dog is providing full controller customization, allowing players to remap every command to a different controller input, including touchpad swipes and controller shake. Now, as they said, this is a big deal. Video game accessibility efforts typically focus only on gaming software, leaving players with disabilities on their own when it comes to building an adaptive controller. So this, to me, is a big deal. It sounds insane, it sounds awesome. It is an absolutely necessary step in a very necessary direction. I know they talked about it, but we need to market this feature of it even more, and this feature specifically deserves its praise. Think of all the people who are not as fortunate as we are with all the senses that we have and all the grateful things that we take for granted. This feature and a lot of the other features included in the game, for those people, it's awesome. It is something that should be a norm for specifically exclusives going forward, because come on, that's the least that they could do going forward. And I think that gaming industry as a whole should adapt to this. I know a lot of other organizations do that with the games that are already out, but it's time that the developers themselves expand out the audience, because they're also part of the gaming community. They want to play and experience, they want to talk about it, they want to give their review of the story, of the gameplay, and all of that good stuff. So Naughty Dog, Sony, you're the real ones for adding that one. What do you think about the accessibility features? What's your reaction to it? And also the trophies list. Do let me know. 5 days left, boys. We're all waiting for the game to drop so we can have all this leaks and speculations and rumors and arguments about the game and the story and all of the things. All of them can be put to bed so we can then finally, all of us, can agree at least what is right in the game and what is wrong. Anyways, I'll see you boys on the flip side.